guys, it's Kate and I hope you're having a great day. I'm back with another intuitive painting and I'm starting out this one with these Artistro acrylic markers that I got. They are paint markers and I haven't used them very much. I actually had a little bit of trouble with my pink there, but they do for the most part write pretty nicely and they're inexpensive on Amazon, so I thought I would break them out for this today, to get some different colors in my mark making down on the paper. So I'm not sure what I wanted for this yet, but I've just been having a lot of fun doing some geometric shapes and outlines. So I think that's what I've kind of had in mind lately, but I'm still just going with the flow and letting the painting happen as it happens. So taking out my favorite Posca marker and making some lines and marks on that. And then I'm going to be starting in with some paint. And I will say my first layer of paint, which is a combination of green and yellow, I actually thought I was recording and I didn't get it. So I apologize for that, but you'll get to see the rest of the process for this video. So I'm going in with my honeycomb stencil and a makeup brush or makeup sponge, and I'm just filling in some areas on that painting where I want to see a little bit of pattern coming off the back. Now I'm using kind of a teal color that's a little bit different than the blue that I have in the background, but it's sort of a very faint contrast, and I really like how that looks on the other blue. So it's just adding a little bit of texture to the back, and then I'm going in with some black paint and doing some other marks over the top. So I'm just painting some little ovals and kind of a pattern on my paper, and then I'm going to make these little squiggly lines that, I don't know, they just felt like they wanted to be painted, so I went for it. And so I'm doing my last couple of little dots on here, and then we will be moving on to the next layer. So normally when I start these out, I have been using a lot of my charcoal pencil, which I really enjoy using. And I actually do bring that out in this one as well. But for right now, I just wanted to use this brown color. So I had that almost like a sienna color, and I mixed a little bit of my blue with it and some white to neutralize it a little bit more. And I am just adding a bit of a neutral to this to tone it down a bit since it's so bright. And I'm using that to outline some of those shapes that I have going on my paper. So I'm sort of being random with it. I'm just sort of putting it where I want it to go, but I actually really liked how it was going around those honeycomb patterns. So I decided to continue that theme, and I sort of brought it a little bit into the end of the painting with some other layers too. So I ended up finding something that I really liked, and I'm just continuing along at the top, and I'm trying to almost stagger it. I didn't want to outline every single shape, but I wanted to almost make it fade out in some areas and be an incomplete outline. And then I'm also adding it around some of my black circles or black ovals. And I like that brown added some contrast over the yellow, and it also just sort of calmed down the painting a little bit, and adding a little bit of white in there just sort of lightened it up enough where it's not just a dark brown. So I'm just kind of feeling my way around. I wanted to connect a couple of those areas, but then I'm going to grab my charcoal pencil like I had been wanting to, and I've been doing in a lot of my paintings, and I'm just loosely outlining some of those black marks. And then I'm just going to scribble a little bit with it, and at this point I'm adding a few little marks, and I'm just kind of deciding where I want my sort of focus area to be. And so I decided that I would like it to be around that black rectangle and sort of in that lower left quadrant. So I'm kind of keeping that in mind right now as I fill in some more of these shapes, and I'm adding some extra contrast in that area right now with the white and in some other areas of the painting as well. And I'm also going to bring in some more color, but right now I'm just pumping up that contrast a bit and adding some marks where they seem like they would be interesting. And some of them I like, and some of them I end up covering up later, but that's part of the process. You can never have too many layers, and you can always paint over something if you don't care how it turns out or care for how it turns out. So I did like the white outlining the outside of my charcoal, and I didn't really mind either where it blended with it a little bit and made it a little bit gray. I kind of like that effect, so I welcome it when it happens. And then I had those other squiggly lines that I just had to do, so I continued with those also. And I've really just been loving some pattern lately. I decided to go ahead and embrace the busyness for this one, and sometimes I try to add some solid colors or glazes over the top of busy patterns, and I didn't really do that too much in this painting, but I made sure to definitely highlight the focus area in some other ways, and in this case of this painting it ended up being with color. So I'm starting to introduce some warm tones like oranges, and I'll come in with some red, and that really helps really differentiate what I want to be in focus from the background. And I know yellow is a warm color, but it's kind of spread out throughout the painting, so I'm trying to focus my my concentration to adding my color to that area that's going to make that rectangle area pop. So I'm just wetting down that little colored pencil, and then I am going in with some nice bright red. And you can see it just jump off the page. Now I'm not going to have that in my only area of the painting. It's not going to be the only red spot, but it's going to be the most in focus. I'm grabbing that same red and just following along with the rest of the pattern and adding some of that interest in some other areas too. But it's all going to kind of stem out from that area. I'm just slowly looking as I go to make sure that I still like how everything looks, and to see where else I might add some marks and finish this painting up. Sometimes it can be easy to overdo things, so I was trying to be careful of that here. When you get going on a color, especially if you're doing little outlines of patterns and things, you can put a lot of color down where then it kind of takes away from your focus. So I am just trying to be careful, and any of the larger areas of red that I'm adding, I'm trying to add it in that same vicinity of my black rectangle. So I'm kind of going through now and covering up a few things that I didn't really want to keep. And one was that sort of white line in the middle of nowhere. And I also wanted to tone down a little bit of that brown and bring in some of that blue. So where I had a lot of the white marks, I just wanted to get those toned a bit. And I'm also adding that blue to my focal point. But I wanted to kind of cool down the other spots in the painting, and the blue did a really nice job of that, I think, and just kind of brought some of these layers together with the different colors. But I actually really loved how this one was turning out, and I love letting go and just making some marks on the papers and experimenting, like I always say in my videos. Probably sound like a broken record now, but but you can never have too much experimentation. So I was really pleased with the way this one came out, and I'm just kind of putting on the finishing touches now and taking off my tape, and I'll be able to show you the close-up. But this one was a lot of fun to do, and it did have several layers, but it didn't have a lot of complete layers, and I really kind of embraced the shapes that were in that stencil. A lot of times I use the stencil for some texture and kind of background interest, but I actually kind of pumped this up to be one of the main elements of the painting, and I really like how it turned out. It's very geometric, and almost reminds me of, I don't know, some kind of industrial thing. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully it gave you some ideas for some paintings of your own. And make sure to give it a thumbs up if you like this video. And until next time, keep creating. Bye.